Hey guys, welcome to game 2 between Ertric and Dreamer. Ertric doing a good job of closing out game 1. Giving Dreamer a little bit of, I don't know, backhanded encouragement in chat. I'm like, you can play better than this. He's like, I'm playing sleepy. I'm Dreamer, of course. We'll see if he has woken up in game 2. This is Tau Cross. And actually, given these two players' style, Dreamer liking the negging, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Negging the StarCraft community to try to be like, come on, you guys, you can do better. Play your best. It's a weird way of, yeah, anyway. Is that what casters do with players? That must be. Whatever. I feel like Dreamer's style of play actually works really well against Terran on this map, where he likes getting in those Reaver harassments. He likes kind of doing those Zealot drops. You know, drops being in multiple locations at once and just harassing his Terran opponent quite a bit. And Tau Cross has a wide open, first of all, there's no ramp to work with. So you really have to defend those multiple locations. And secondarily, there's just a lot of area to drop inside the main base to get either Dark Templar or Reaver or all sorts of things. So you just, if you're going with turrets, you just have to put an excessive amount of turrets down. I'm wondering if that actually might encourage an earlier Goliath or two. As far as, honestly, I think that might benefit Ertric, is kind of going that counter Goliath to deal with the drop and just dedicating to 2-base something and pressing from there. Game 1, that Vulture drop very much played out for him. Dreamer once again going for a Gateway Assimilator. We'll see if he opts for Zealot. I feel like an initial Zealot, even a Zealot on this map, can be beneficial just because it is rampless. Ertric moving out with an SCV. It looks like it is going to scout out to the upper left-hand corner first. So going to come across Dreamer's base last. Refinery up, Barracks up. And actually plopping down that refinery before even building an initial SCV. And plopping all 3 SCVs in gas. So not going for any sort of early command center nonsense. And there is an initial Zealot being built here for Dreamer. And here's the thing, without, granted you can, I think with a single supply depot, kind of plug, or a single something, you can plug that gap. And it is kind of a wide area to try to defend at the natural expansion. The bunker being built right now, but if this Zealot just makes a beeline, so here the probe going to scout upper left, if this Zealot makes a beeline to this base, might be able to get there before there are sufficient Marines in this bunker, and might be able to get a run by and some additional harassment in Ertric's main. Making his way there now. First Marine, gonna slide in. Appreciate you being here. Good luck. Dreamer is leaving chat. Appreciate you being here. Don't usually do this in YouTube cast, but when I feel like I have the actual player, I gotta give the acknowledgement, right? Have a great day, man. Range being upgraded. First Dragoon's out. There's that Zealot poking on that front. Actually, having that shield, I feel like if he had taken a moment and just gone for a run by, would have gotten the run by, but instead going to go ahead and back out. SCV, not getting a huge amount of scouting information, but does in fact see the Dragoon range working, and does see at least an initial Dragoon and not a second Gateway. Dreamer peeling back, and we do see that Ertric is gearing up for some form of 2-factory play. We'll see if he's going to go for, we've seen it, yeah, he's going to, I think, go for the 1 siege tank, several vultures, 6 marine play. He's going to want to hide these marines in that back corner. One problem for him in the midst of this, Dreamer is getting range. He does have Dragoons starting to push out to that natural expansion. And so he might want something there. Ooh. A Zealot able to force, so that Zealot able to force its way through. Ertric trying to keep that Zealot out of the main. It's going to wander in and see these 2 factories. That is huge. Absolutely huge. So now Dreamer has the scouting information. Granted, he's a little bit light on troops, but he's going to see the double machine shop. Let's see how he reacts. Already has that second Gateway alongside. Is probably going to want a Robo. Might even want to drop a Forge or whatever. And I like that he's still applying this pressure on the front. And this is what I was, going to say. He wanted some SCVs or something like that. I didn't get a chance to say it. He's going to have to worry about that this sort of action on the front. And I like that he's pressing forward with these Dragoons, knowing that there is going to be, because there wasn't a siege tank out yet, there are going to be fewer attack forces to deal with the at least early Dragoon pressure. And getting some initial damage on that siege tank, might want to back off from here, because wants to keep his troops alive to deal with the inevitable incoming push. But killing all of those Marines before they were supporting units is really going to blunt the effectiveness of anything Ertric can pull out of his hat here. Mines being researched as well as vulture speed, so this is going to be 3 siege tank and just vultures to follow this up. The bunker landing so the Dragoons can't just push through. Ertric is essentially all in with this at this stage, and actually, as such, honestly, I'm wondering if he just wants to pull all of his SCVs. Siege tanks sneaking in underneath, additional Dragoons being produced. There is a pylon on that front to provide some support. A 3rd gateway plopping down. Dreamer with 4 Dragoons on that front door. Again, wants to engage this push as quickly as possible from Ertric. Ertric's upgrades following up with siege tech. And honestly, yeah, at this stage, I would just pull a bunch of SCVs and go for it. Just pull them all and go for it. Creating a pylon blockade so he can go ahead and seal his front door. The Dragoons waiting in a line to go ahead and engage along the most likely attack force. Ertric pushing out with this a little bit tentatively. He's going to go ahead and try to follow this up. He's doing this as an FD, but honestly, I feel like that's ill-advised. I feel like, yeah, kind of the way this played out, this might end up hurting him overall. We'll see. Because with the 3 gateway of production, if you don't run up and get some damage, robotics facility to follow, Dreamer can just basically press into you with kind of a follow-up once he realizes there's like a lack of pressure coming out. So it's like, okay, you went for FD, you have some mines. As soon as I have my robo, as soon as I have my observatory, with my overall Dragoon count, I'm just going to run into you, knowing that you took a much later command center. Looks like you're going to try to just 8 that mine. Yeah, realizing that's the case already. Keeping the mine count low. So Ertric now, he's in a position where he's going to have to go ahead and do something special, honestly, on his front door to stay alive. Because this is going to be, granted he can produce siege tanks in a hurry, getting a 3rd factory right now, but he's going to be economically behind Dreamer for a period of time, actually plopping down an engineering bay and using this barracks to go ahead and plug that front. Dreamer has lots of options to work with as far as a follow-up as well. He doesn't have to just be super aggressive and go out for an attack. What he also could do is he can go ahead and take an additional base. It looks like he's opting for that, knowing that he has map control. Unfortunately, these mines might be a trigger for these vultures to go ahead and try to stop that expansion. I think Ertric might have missed it. I like that he's mining that 3 o'clock. Another probe wandering out. Go ahead and do some scouting information. The vulture's trying to sneak by, not getting anything. Vulture is there to go ahead and see that nexus. Some reinforcements should be able to get there to go ahead and defend this, even without the observatory. Unfortunately, well, maybe not. With the timing of this, it looks like this might be a cancel for Dreamer. And actually with that, so with Ertric not applying pressure, observatory up, Ertric is not ahead by any means, but he's kept himself in this match as far as a follow-up. And Dreamer may be looking for an additional location. It looks like he's going to go ahead and try to expand. He's clearing out the 3 o'clock. Might go ahead and expand there. Already has a probe in position to do so. Might even double expand. He could get away with a double expand here, with everything that Ertric's pulling out. Ertric's now kind of going to more defensive stance. He's actually dropped 3 machine shops to produce a higher siege tank count. Has level 1 weapons about halfway finished. So using that initial vulture force to keep Dreamer from being too greedy and expanding absolutely everywhere. Kind of like that play, and forcing Dreamer to... So Dreamer has that 3 o'clock base established, but is mostly playing defensively with his Dragoons. Still hasn't actually grabbed his second assimilator. Citadel of Adun warping in. I'm wondering if he's going to follow up with Zealot legs or something along those lines. And Ertric almost positioning as though he wants to go ahead. Yeah, so he's just going to walk out on the ground, float the barracks forward, and this is... I got to feel like this... Okay, he does have 3 machine shops to make this work. But kind of making, yeah, the diagonal line of siege tanks to go ahead and try to defend and cover territory, and it looks like he's setting up to go ahead and take his 3rd base. Dragoons accidentally clearing that minefield across that location. So he's going to go ahead and ramp up to take 3, and he's going to play a more defensive position from there. One thing on Tau Cross is, for Terran, if you just want to go ahead and play defensively, it is a great map for it. Because you have, if you can get position on these ramps, you end up with balls of your attack forces where they just, when they're trying to cross these bridges, because they are so bunched up, the siege tanks just do an immense amount of splash damage. Second assembler now being taken. 3rd base is up and running for Ash. He does have the, or for Dreamer, I should say. Ash is the clan. He does have the overall economic lead. But I feel like Protoss on this map needs to get something done sooner rather than later to avoid kind of that slow build situation. Ertric gathering up. It looks like he's going to go ahead and maybe make a push at this 3rd. Dreamer's Dragoons moving up. He's only going to have Zealot leg speed and a handful of Dragoons to try to fight this off. And this is what I was talking about, where that bridge just is fantastic. Already getting 2 Dragoons and a Zealot basically for free as he's pushing into this. And he's even just going to slow push this. He's just going to use SCVs to build turrets forward and continue to kind of, yeah, just eke his way into that. The Zealots careening down. Good mine drag. The Zealots on top of the siege tanks down below, but that is an immense amount of siege tanks. And again, you can see the Dragoons just bunching up from behind. So Ertric going to get the better part of this fight. And Dreamer GGing from there. Oof. Realizing he wasn't going to be able to hold his 3rd. And that Ertric was basically going to take control of the game from there. It was an early GG, but oof. That's an oof moment. So Ertric... That's unfortunate. So Ertric, taking at least the initial 2 games, this is, I believe, a best of 5. So we've got one more match for Dreamer to mount a comeback. Going to move on to game 3 momentarily.